what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joyce Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. What is up? It's Woodward Sports, Monday morning, the day after the Super Bowl. I'm a nerd. I always get sad. Sad is the word I can say it after the college football national championship game and the Super Bowl, and I start counting down to the draft, and I start counting down to a day that I know there's one person in this room that agrees with me, Tom Mazaway. I love schedule reveal day. I love schedule reveal day. Maz, are you with me? I love schedule reveal day. And people, like, what's wrong with you? It's a schedule. I love schedule reveal day. We have a surprise for you today. It's Baligian and Bell, and guess what? Guess who else is here today? Yeah, do you see it? Do you get those cameras panned out?
Good morning.
Yeah?
Oh,
I moved out to the big leagues. This feels nice. Less work, just all talk, 2 hours and I'm out. Could show up 2 minutes before the show. I'm ready. Let's go.
Joik nearly about 1 minute before the show was going to boycott it. The comment was, if he's here, I'm not. But we did some negotiations.
We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Come on, can you turn your thing down?
Sorry. I'm trying to load up all the comments with all the support. I'm sorry.
Can you just turn down your iPad?
Amateur hour over here.
Steve said, hate to say it, I told you so, but don't bet against Brady. Can't be denied.
It can't be denied.
Cannot, absolutely, positively cannot be denied. It was so interesting to me. Was it a prolific day? No, he didn't have to do it. He was 21 of 29 for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. The game was freaking over by the time he threw his 3 touchdowns, the way that defense was playing.
Defense were playing lights out.
You brought it up Friday.
Lights out.
I thought of you Friday, or I thought of you and what you said on Friday. It is another example of people need to pay closer attention to what is happening in the trenches. Those losses on the offensive line, Joik, and you brought it up on Friday.
It really showed.
Massive.
It really showed. You know, and even with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, where he's great under pressure, right? If I have a post on my Instagram, right, of him trying to find open receivers, it kind of looked like the Weeknd concert when he walked into that little room and he was like walking around. He didn't really know what was going on. That was Patrick Mahomes trying to find an open receiver last night, just running around and just trying to keep his head on his shoulder because Sue and those guys were coming. And I'm happy for Sue. Like, Sue deserves a ring, man. He's been through a lot. You know, this is his second Super Bowl. I was happy to see him walk away with one.
I thought he was a good dude. I told you the whole stomping thing, kind of ticked me off, but I thought he was a good dude to talk to. He's obviously a phenomenal player.
Yeah. Is that a Hall of Famer in your book? Okay,
do you want me to? All right, if I'm a snob, no. And I'm snobby about it. I really think, and this is what makes this class so great, is I look at these guys that are going in this class, and you can't deny them. Those are all great players. Like this class, pound for pound, might be the greatest class ever, and that's not an overstatement. This class was unbelievable. Calvin, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Drew Pearson is your number 2 wide receiver in your. Come on, man, are you kidding me? Phenomenal class.
And what they say, that Calvin is the 7th receiver in history to be on the first ballot.
Yep. And it sounds like the Lions are in the process of making it right too. That was lost over the weekend, so I'm glad that you brought that up. I don't want to forget that. Calvin sounded very positive about some of the steps that they're taking to make that wrong right. And it is wrong.
It was wrong.
It's a bad optic look for the Lions, period.
And you know what, though? This is one of the instances where you can't create your own narrative on a guy like Calvin. He doesn't go to the media. He doesn't blow it up. He loves the city. He's still here. And the people here, we know Calvin Johnson. And so it's great to be able to see that the Lion organization are making steps to correct this wrong and to make it right, because he's a valuable piece to the history of the Lions legacy. So
I got into a lot of discussions with people about this on Twitter over the weekend, and it's amazing how many people think that this is about Calvin Johnson and this is about giving Calvin Johnson his money. And I'm not being demeaning when I say this. It's like you couldn't be missing the point more. It's about optics. Guys around the league talk. They've talked about the Detroit Lions for 30-plus years. They don't care. They're cheap, et cetera, okay? And when Andrew Luck retires and the Colts ownership, the Ursays tell him, forget the $24.8 million. Keep every penny of it. Are you going to tell me that guys aren't noticing that? Not $1.6 million. $24.8 million is what Andrew Luck was allowed to keep. And the same thing, the Colts could have asked for that money back under the collective bargaining agreement. They could have asked for that money back. Right. Andrew Luck would have been forced to pay $24.8 million. But Jim Irsay is a smart man in that regard. The optics on that look awful. Keep it. Don't worry about it. And yet the Lions are squabbling over $1.6 million? Again, whether or not the Lions have the right to do that, and they do, is inconsequential. It's a bad look.
It's a horrible look. You know, and it's to a point to where I don't want my beloved Lions to be looked upon as that team.
Amen.
As that team.
And you know what? They're trying to change that narrative. I give Rod Wood credit. Joik, you and I have talked about it. I give Rod Wood credit. He knows that there's a reputation out there.
Oh, he knows.
And he's gone out of his way to invite guys back home, so to speak. And there are two different players that flat out told me, wow, I never thought that I'd be here. I just thought that, screw them. They don't care about me. I don't care about them. This is awesome that they're welcoming guys back. It is. It's so much bigger than 1.6. If you think a reputation is worth $1.6 million, then ask for the money back. To me, you easily let that money go. That's doing the right thing.
Yeah, you got to think of all the money that he's helped bring in, the pride that he's brought to the Lion organization. We always, we have those Hall of Fame players like with the Barry Sanders, the Calvin Johnson, and for some reason when they both left the team, it's always some type of something there.
Yep.
It's just good to be able to see them to correct it. And like you said, Rod Wood he comes in and he knows the area. Like he's been a part of this regime for quite some time, so he knows what Calvin means to the city, the organization, and the fans who support it around the world.
Yep.
And so it's great.
All right, so listen, Art sitting in here today for a myriad of reasons. Hi, Art.
Hi, how are you?
And I wasn't trying to trigger you yesterday. At least I'm a man of my word, okay?
Yeah.
What did I tell you on Friday?
That you had no interest in the Super Bowl halftime show.
I just don't watch them.
And that you would probably be making a plate of food in between that time. Oh, hang on. That you would probably be making a plate of food during that time and that you would not be watching it. Can I put my hand down now? Joik? Comment?
I had.
It's funny how he gets on the show and he thinks he can talk to me directly. like he gets his seat and he's sitting right in the middle.
Time. I got here at 10 o'clock. I was sitting. I made sure my seat was clean.
This
is a big moment for me. Okay, I'm on the world's greatest show.
You know what's funny? We can revert back to last week. The thing that Art was looking forward to the most was the weekend. He said this was a great moment.
Such a good
show. And the funny thing is, if you can zoom in on this, Adam, I did a poll, halftime show, encore.
He can't.
God, please no.
He can't zoom in because for
right
some
now,
reason you have a privacy screen.
It's 70%. It's 70% said, "Oh God, please no," and 30% said encore. So it's not even close.
You don't understand greatness. I mean, that was
I
great.
went. You know what? This is not even my take on it. This is the people talking.
The people.
This is
the
the
people have spoken.
The people have
so
spoken.
So the people
It's a
approved
democracy.
Lady Gaga and Katy Perry over the weekend.
This
makes me sick to my stomach.
What makes you sick to
The
your
fact
stomach?
that people approve Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and whoever else. Bruno Mars had a good halftime performance.
What are you talking
about? The
about?
Weeknd killed it.
No,
he killed it. I'm
It
sorry
was
that
terrible.
you're so football,
You don't even know.
Stats, that you can't slow down for a minute and listen to the soothful sounds of Abel, the Weeknd.
Like who brings on the Weeknd a slow singer to do a halftime show in the Super Bowl? Who wants to be calm and relaxed?
I don't know.
Who wants to light sage in the middle of a game? Like
I don't know about you, but sometimes when you make love, you can't always go fast. Okay, sometimes you got to slow down a little bit. From a man who has many babies, sometimes you got to get into the groove a little bit. Okay, you can't just go fast the whole time. Nobody wants a rabbit. You gotta take it easy. I thought he killed it. I thought he worked with what he had. We're going through COVID times, people. Like, sorry there wasn't so many explosions and Lady Gaga flying down from space on a parachute. But
oh my
I
God.
thought it was great.
And then on top of it, when he's standing there with his arms out like he just killed it.
He did.
It was horrible.
He killed it. What was bad about it? That it was slow.
You know what?
There was no choreography. It was slow.
They were on the field, 50 people dancing together.
They were all
psychotic.
I see better choreography at a Georgia Tech band.
People are killing it on our Facebook messages. It is they really
Who's
are.
making love to the Weeknd? I must
We,
need
the
to go
people
back
who
to his
made
music.
love to the Weeknd.
Shakira over the Weeknd.
Who makes love to the Weeknd? Like bro, he's not even on my playlist throughout my 1,000+ songs on my Apple Music. He's doesn't have
No,
one
but I
song
bet you
on
George Michael is.
No,
This
it's not.
isn't 1983 anymore. Music has evolved. Talent has evolved.
Yes, it has
He is our
evolved.
version of Michael Jackson.
No, he's
yes,
not.
he is.
Let's
Hands
take a-
down.
Hey, yo, anybody who think The Weeknd is our version of Michael Jackson, please say that here, please.
You know what
Because
also-
that is disrespectful to Michael Jackson.
He's
No,
on his way.
no, he's not.
Yes,
Is he
is.
really?
No.
And people are commenting about the jock straps. You don't understand
Look what he
symbolism.
has on. No,
Watch
he's
a
not.
movie. Watch a movie.
No, if any, you know what though?
You don't understand symbolism.
Despite everything out of music, Chris Brown be the closest thing to Michael Jackson
Listen,
we have
I'm gonna
right now.
Listen, I'm gonna call you out right now, and I hate to do it. I will not support a woman beater to play the halftime show.
Well,
Sorry, won't do
nah.
it. To me, he's
Hey.
trash. He's trash.
His music is trash, so you can't separate.
His music was good 10 years ago, Joik.
What you talking about?
When was the latest Chris Brown hit? When?
Are you serious?
When? The Winter Fresh gum commercial? Oh, that was cool.
Love CB. Listen, everybody loves CB.
Yeah, I love women beaters too, I guess. Terrible. Terrible take.
I'd rather have a Jim Croce hologram.
Oh.
Just get me the Jim
you're
Croce
speaking
hologram
to me right now. Operator.
Harry Chapin and Jim Croce hologram walking out on the
I
stage.
can't believe you
Yes.
said Chris Brown doesn't
I'm
have
in.
any hits. Are you serious?
The symbolism of the jockstrap. Let me explain it to you, Steve. We don't have that much time.
No
There you go.
guidance. Like no guidance. Sold more What's so? Well, no, him and
Just
Drake.
because you sell more records doesn't mean that you are
People
better.
want Art voted off the island
Easy,
now.
please.
Art just lost his seat.
Please, easy with Danny Lee. Like, what songs are you talking
So
about? He
you're
doesn't have any
saying,
hits.
you're saying that you would rather have an artist that peaked 10 plus years
You're
ago.
taking
Peak.
it out of context.
Art,
Bringing
that
up
she
off
is.
the field
10
shit,
plus
You're
years
bringing
ago.
up art. We
Tell
talking
me-
about
give the
talent.
men his
We're
Tell
talking
me
about
other
talent
than-
on stage.
Other than
We're-
his new single, The Weeknd had hit after hit after hit. What are you talking about?
sold
You
more
are
records?
insane. Oh,
Put like
because
this, who
there
sold
wasn't
more
enough
records in the last 2 years?
explosions.
We're saying the next 2 years. In the last 2 years, who sold more records? Because your argument last week was The Weeknd sold more records than Chris Brown.
No,
and
I
you
will
have to go
say-
look it up.
I will say this.
No.
The
no,
Weeknd
no.
has sold less records than
No,
Chris
no,
Brown.
no, no,
Who
no, no,
is
no.
more relevant in time right now? You're going to tell me
Chris
Chris
Brown.
Brown should
Yes.
have done the Super Bowl for this year?
He could have definitely
He's too
just.
busy doing crack in L.A. Get out of here. He's literally a
You know what's
dope
funny?
fiend.
You know what's funny though? How you just retract your statements and you just try to go around it like athletes would do with the media when we're playing. Last week, did you not say before you went to go look it up that Weeknd had more? He sold more records than Chris Brown. Did you say that? Yes or no?
The Weeknd versus everybody.
Did you say that? Exactly. So keep going around.
everybody.
Exactly. He was
Weeknd
horrible.
versus everybody.
And listen, this was the worst halftime show performance
Okay, let me
I have
ask
ever
you.
seen.
Let me ask you this.
I
Answer
have
this
ever
yes or
seen.
no. Shakira and J-Lo put on a
Mass.
better performance.
I've ever seen.
Terrible, Joey. You're terrible.
Oh, you like the
Thank you, Maz. Thank you, Maz. He killed it. Listen, he had that
was horrible.
My
meter.
halftime
People
show
was
was
smoking.
better.
He had
Was it? Did you like it?
My halftime show was better.
I'm wrong there.
Hold on, Adam, did you
listen.
like the halftime show?
I mean, it was all right. It wasn't one of the top Super Bowl.
Listen,
performances
Joik isn't
ever.
going
I
to
mean,
sign
come
an
on.
autograph
I
for
think
you
Chris
for
Brown
agreeing
will do
with
a
it.
better
Stick.
job, though.
Adam,
I think
Did you like the halftime show performance?
He's on the phone. He's
Stick's on
talking
the
to the
phone right
Weekend
now.
to get him in here to do his show.
He's calling
Look,
the
guys,
NFL to
guys,
complain
if
about
we're being
it.
real.
Hey, Stick, be real. This is the sign of. Did you like the halftime show performance? Yes or no?
Don't do the Stick.
Yes or no?
I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was
Thank
awful.
you.
I didn't think it was awful. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was
It's
awful by any
3-3
stretch.
right now. Tie room.
No.
It's not a tie room.
Matt said it was great.
No, he
Stick
said
it was okay.
No,
I
okay.
said it was great.
You said, and we said it was horrible.
Would I watch it again? Probably not.
I didn't watch
Never.
a second of it.
But it was okay.
Could you stick? Would you agree that Chris Brown would do a better job?
Yes
Well,
or no?
this is what we talked
No,
about.
we're just
though.
talking about talent.
The
We're just talking
weekend,
about-
the weekend is not like a dancer. He's not going to change outfits
He's not
and
a-
stuff
he's
like that.
not-
Chris Brown, one of the greatest entertainers I've ever
Greatest
seen.
10 years ago.
No.
Brown.
10 years ago.
Dude,
Hold on, like this. When the last time you seen that? When's the last time you been to a Chris Brown concert?
Never, because I don't
Exactly.
support
So shut
woman
up.
beaters.
Well, shut up then. No. It's not about supporting women beaters. It's about talent. If you can't separate talent from off the field stuff, then it's
No,
on
I
you.
definitely
Brown
can.
has lots
I
of
definitely
hits.
can. I
No.
definitely can. MJ, one of the greatest performers of all time.
Okay.
Regardless of his whatever happened in the past.
Oh, no,
Chris
it's
Brown,
whatever.
Chris Brown is a wannabe Michael Jackson with half the talent
And
and,
you,
a coke crowd.
weekends want to be Michael Jackson with no dancing ability. What kind of stuff is that? With
How
no dancing
dare you?
ability.
Okay, so you
He
don't-
can't dance. So you telling me the
I'm
weekend
an
can dance
R&B
better
guy.
than Chris Brown?
I'm an R&B guy.
This
And
is
to
a
me,
sports
you
show,
need
and
to
we're
have
talking about
rhythm
R&B
and
singer.
blues. Chris
This is
Brown,
a sports
all
show.
blues.
We bring Art on here, and he wants to talk about the weekend and making love and having babies. And I got 30 of them, and I know how to make babies well. Like,
You're not wrong.
What kind of show is this?
You're not wrong.
You're
Listen
bringing
to me.
art-
If I'd rather watch the crackhead all day. I mean, what's the crackhead going to do on the stage? Are you kidding me? That'd be entertaining.
You know, here's my thing. Can we
I'm not
bring
watching a
on? I
second
know
of
that
it.
it's been top 40 for the Super Bowl for so long.
Look
Can
at
I
Bill
put a
Billy.
vote?
Art don't. Hey, Bill, you're watching the show. Please comment. Would you have rather seen the weekend do? Hear me out. And this is coming from another professional player. Bill, would you rather see Chris Brown on the weekend perform? And who's the better performer? Who's the better artist? Please, right here, please.
Listen, you guys aren't supposed to understand greatness. I worked in top 40 for 10 plus years. I know what good looks like. Chris Brown doing his little, winter fresh
Mike had it.
gum.
You know, it's crazy.
No.
You know what's crazy? He's comparing. The weekend is our next Michael Jackson. Michael
Yes.
Jackson had a drug issue.
And that's fine.
Okay,
Listen,
but no. Don't call one person a crackhead and not another person.
Okay, let me say this.
All right, that's all I'm saying.
Separate the artist from the previous issues.
I know
that
you want to
they've had.
separate.
You have to
No,
separate the
no,
artists.
no,
Look at it
no,
strictly.
he can't use it no more, Adam. Now he want to switch. You see,
Let's
Adam?
look at it.
Adam, you
He's
see
so
this?
mad.
You see what
He's so
it's
mad.
bush.
He's
It's bush.
so mad. He's so mad. He's so mad. Somebody said artist the weekend of sports.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? It'd be great. I'd take Gordo.
Yeah, let's have Gordon
I'd
Lightfoot
take
play the record
Gordo.
of the
Yeah,
Edmund
give me
Fitzgerald.
Gordo on that.
Forever by Chris Brown is a bop.
That's 2004.
But I just told you, easy.
Who has had
Danny-
more recent hits? The Weeknd.
No, he has not.
When was the last time Chris
I just
Brown put
gave you
out?
one. I just gave you three
What's-
of them.
what song?
I gave you No Guidance. I gave you the Easy Remix. You don't know No Guidance, then you just live under a rock. You living under a rock
I've
if
never
you don't
heard
know
of those songs. Yeah.
At least I'm
yo,
consistent.
are you
I
con-
literally, it was my third rack of ribs at halftime. And I told Art, I don't watch these things. I did one early for the hockey game. I did one early for the start of the Super Bowl. And the third one, I had my baby backs, and I got this Hungarian rub that I love, and I brought them upstairs. And like, to me, that was the finisher. And you know, when your wife and daughter both look at you and go, Dad, this was the best one, that's the greatest halftime
You
show.
can't play that. We're going to get copyrighted.
I didn't play anything.
It's okay. But listen,
I didn't play anything. But No Guidance by Chris Brown. It was a slapper.
And
If
when
you
was
know,
that released?
2019.
Didn't hear it.
Exactly.
Listen.
Yeah, quiet. You don't know good music.
Listen, of all personal reasons aside, because someone said you can't issue personal. The Weeknd has more hits currently than Chris Brown. Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
You said who?
It's just wrong.
The Weeknd
wrong.
has more hits
That's
right
just
now in
wrong.
the past
That's
3
just wrong.
years
No,
than Chris
he's
Brown.
just wrong.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google it. He's got more hits in the past
The
3 years.
same way we Google who sold the most record, huh? Let's say we would go with that.
In the past 3
Does that-
years, The Weeknd has more hits.
No,
than
who
Chris
sold-
Brown.
who sold the most in the last 3
I'm
years?
not wrong on that.
Who sold the most in the last 3 years?
The Weeknd has sold more in the last 3 years. That's a fact.
So what I do with my
Not a
ribs,
fact.
Lynn, is I have like the first rack is ready for the hockey game, and that's a good rack, okay. But the second and the third are the ones that I baby.
Thank you, Ron.
The second one's ready for the beginning of the Super Bowl. The third one is the one that I really baby, and that's the one that I put the Hungarian rub on. And I'm telling you, I even slathered half of it. I usually don't like to do this, but I slathered half of it with some good brown sugar. And I let it bake in there. And I'll tell you, the greatest thing is when both your wife and your daughter go, Dad, that might have been the best rack you ever made. I won.
To close this argument, because we got to move on, guys.
Yeah.
Art, just so you know,
Oh, here we go.
Chris Brown did sell more records in
Yeah,
2020.
I said that.
In 2020. He
no,
said
I don't
sold
believe it.
more
Don't
records in
believe it.
2020 than The
Won't
Weeknd.
believe it. Won't
Tell
believe
him,
it.
Joy.
It's COVID. It's
It's
COVID.
right.
It's COVID.
Look at
Don't
that.
be
Now
knocking
look at
Chris
that.
Brown,
now look
man.
at that.
The Weeknd would
Even when
sell
he's
out
wrong.
The Weeknd would
Hey,
sell
yo,
out
you
an
know,
arena.
you know the type of guy Art is. You go outside. Hey, the sky is blue. Art, no, it's red.
You sound like
Look
my
at
wife.
it.
You sound
It's
like
red.
my wife right now.
It's red. Look at the sky. It's red. No, Art, it's blue. No. Let me show you.
So listen, when we come back, we're
Take
gonna
them
talk,
sunglasses
we're gonna
off.
talk about the game. I had to give them their segment because this has been my life since the second that Joy walked into the studio.
On time.
We had to make this translate because these two have been going back and forth. Art, no disrespect, my friend. I don't
Don't
care.
do this, Sean.
No, I don't care if it's Harry Chapin up on stage. I'm not watching at
I can
halftime.
respect that.
I'm not. Even Jim Croce. And we both like Jim
It's
Croce.
horrible, bro.
Hey, start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. We'll restart the show when we come back. It's Woodward Sports.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
What is up? Glad you can join us again on a Monday morning, the day after the Super Bowl. I don't know what else. I tweeted this out last night. If you're one of those people, and people like took this as a shot at Maz, and I wasn't even taking a shot at Maz, but if you're one of those people, if you can't acknowledge that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time,
He is.
you're just you're being that guy. You really are. You're being that guy.
We have some naysayers in the background, but you know
Man,
what
seriously.
but you know what it is, Sean. Sean, you know what it is, though, Sean. Say what you just said again. Say it louder for the haters in the back.
Robert Horry the greatest?
You are. Oh no! You did not compare Robert Horry to Tom
Is he the
Brady.
greatest? He won
Do you
7
remember? Do you remember when Robert Horry won 5 MVPs? That was awesome. Who can forget?
There Maz goes again, talking about 1942.
1942.
Seriously.
Back in my day, they had quarterbacks.
Do you know what jumps out to me? Do
Do it
you
again,
know what
Art.
jumps out to me?
Hey, everybody, hold on. This is the best thing Art has ever done for the show. Do it again.
Back in my day, I'm Maz, and I like quarterbacks.
It's delusional.
You know. Hey, you know what's funny? Hey, we got.
He said Chris Brown.
He said it so triumphantly. I wish we had the camera on Maz. He literally Chris Brown and then put up the arms like he just hit the Super Bowl.
traitor.
I'm gonna tell you this, all right. Oh my God, bro. Somebody said, drop exclamation mark, Art. Bye, Felicia.
Listen, Maz, I could have an easy work day. I could leave right now. I said my piece about everything. Listen, but with the quarterback talk, it's interesting.
Art's like a dog chasing his tail.
Where are you just pulling these comments out
Hey,
of
they're
nowhere?
right here. They're right here. There's some Gary. Art's like a dog chasing his tail.
Listen, that's
eat
jealousy.
the crow, take
They
your
wish
L
they
like
were
a
me
man.
right now. They wish
Art.
they were me right now, okay? Speaking
No
of the
one
Brady
would say
talk,
he had
though,
20
what
kids.
do you say to all the? Because I see all these haters on Facebook and Twitter that Brady's and Rob Parker saying that he's the luckiest of all time.
It's insane.
That's the most delusional.
No, you know what it
comment.
is. You're trying to be that guy. I mean, really, you are. You're trying to be that guy. You're looking for your clicks. You're trying to be different. And unfortunately, whether we want to admit it or not, and this is a serious conversation now. There are way too many people like that. The hot take guy, the guy that just wants people to listen to him because he's going to be different. There's way too much of that. And I know I told you, Joy, you and I had this conversation before. As the good Lord is my witness, I've never done it. I'll never do it. And trust me, some of my opinions, people have accused me of doing it, but I'm serious. I'm looking you right in the eye. I say what I mean and mean what I say. If I say something, I mean it. I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm not trying to get,
riled up.
Yeah,
I'm not poking.
I'm
not poking.
No, and if you can't acknowledge this, listen. This
Say
is the
that
best
for
way to
home,
say it.
Art. Say that poking when you get home.
This is the best way. Tom Brady became the starter of a crap team in New England. They were 5-11 the year before and won the Super Bowl in his first year. End. Yeah. Tom Brady became the quarterback of a crap team in Tampa. They were 7-9 last year, and they won the Super Bowl in his first year.
I'm gonna tell you this.
End.
I'm gonna
knock it off.
I'm gonna tell you this, though, Sean. The only thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were missing last year was a quarterback. I will compare last year's team to like the Lions back in 2012. They're right there. They just need that one piece, and Tom Brady was that one piece.
Jameis threw 30 interceptions.
Yeah, but
30.
How many yards did he throw for? Did he throw for over 5,000?
Yeah, but no, but Joy, to your point, they were missing the
They
quarterback.
was missing the quarterback.
Yeah, when your quarterback throws
so-
30 interceptions, that's a problem.
So I think it was, and I think it was either the president or the owner came on, and he said after the game, he said that we were one piece away from the Super Bowl. So what did we do? We went out and we got somebody that's been there before, and that person that's been there was Tom Brady. And you know what? I tell everyone, you can't bet, like you said, you can't bet against Tom Brady. But
No, you have to make him raise his hand.
No, he doesn't have to raise his hand.
I don't got to raise my hand.
Hold on. Hey, what's up, boss? You got it. Hey, Art, man.
All right, check this out,
Art, raise
guys.
your hand.
All right.
Tom Brady and the Patriots yesterday. Patriots, funny. Buccaneers. You know who scored their touchdowns? Retired. Two of them, Robert Gronkowski.
All from the Patriots.
All of them came with Brady. Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette. Like that team, not only were they missing the quarterback, they brought dogs with them. Like guys that were like seasoned, ready to fight for a Super Bowl, and it showed up yesterday, man.
Yeah.
You know what people say? I've heard a few guys that had the opportunity to play with Tom Brady say this. He brings a moxie with him. He brings a swagger with him, and for whatever reason, it feeds off to the rest of the room. And Tampa definitely did that. I mean, Jameis was like a live wire last year. You know, that Tampa team. You didn't know what you were going to get. He might make an explosive play, and yet he had 30 interceptions, and so many of them went pick six. You're not going to win a whole heck of a lot of football games like that. And it is amazing. He writes another chapter of greatness, and it has, to me, I don't care if you're a Tom Brady guy or not. I just don't. Your fandom has nothing to do with acknowledging that what he did hasn't been done by anybody. Your fandom has nothing to do with it.
Somebody just commented, Christie said that Mahomes ran 497 yards before throwing his passes yesterday. To me, he was playing out of pocket, which he's typical of doing, but he did it horribly with that defense. I mean, they sacked him, 3 times in a row, and one, it was insane. Like, it just showed the differences, not only for Tom Brady, but the defensive end of the Bucs. I mean, they had his number.
Well, it goes back to what Joik was saying on Friday, and we you cannot discount this. I mean, in the trenches is so important. I mean, it just is. When you're missing key components to your offensive line, and our buddy Dave the Butcher just brought it up, look, it's going to be a massive factor in the game. Now, did people like me take that into consideration and say, yeah, but if anybody could overcome that, it might be Patrick Mahomes because of those numbers, that next-gen stuff that was just brought up, that he could scramble for 490 yards or whatever the hell it was. Yes, but at the end of the day, taking away his options downfield. Joik, one of the things that I know you and I both talked about, okay, all the weapons at Patrick Mahomes' disposal. Where were
Where
they?
were they? None.
None.
But you know what it was, though? They weren't a balanced offense. You know why? Because they didn't have the pieces they needed in the trenches, so they couldn't run the ball. So they were getting enough pressure. It was just their front four to cause pressure on the quarterback and also to get more people back in coverage. They didn't allow the same things that beat them in the regular season, beat them in the playoffs. And he learned from his mistakes. The DC, he played more aggressive. He learned from it. That's how they were able to come out and win the second half as well. So kudos to him.
Do you think injury, how much, because obviously Mahomes towards the end of the game was limping a lot. Do you think that played the toe turf any bit at all?
Patrick
with
Mahomes played the best ball he could. He had no help.
It wasn't pretty.
He had no help.
Yeah.
It was. You know what? It's
no
interesting because inevitably what happens the next day.
You look. He had two passes where it literally hit his the receivers in the face.
In the face.
Yeah.
In the face.
Yeah.
In the face. Going down, falling.
Even Kelsey
on
looked.
fourth.
Kelsey looked discombobulated.
Yeah, he had a couple drops. Yeah.
He had a couple drops, but he picked it up in the second half, but he still missed a couple.
But no touchdowns. 3 field goals. That's it. And then in the fourth quarter, completely shut out. This is something that you watch the first match and you're like, okay, it was close, and Kansas City obviously got the win. Then Tampa Bay goes 7-0 all the way to the Super Bowl and goes 8-0 by beating, Mahomes and the crew. It was just, it looked like they were playing a shell of a version of Kansas City.
Tampa Bay, they picked up and they started playing their best ball at the end. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. They came together at the end. They
if you go look at Tom Brady's 2 losses, similar formula, pass rush.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Nobody here should knock Patrick Mahomes for yesterday's performance.
No.
Sorry, I'm one of those people, and I've said this for years, and I'll continue to say it. And I think the old school guys get pissed at me for saying this. You defense wins championship crap. Yeah, partly, but the NFL is really simple today. What kind of pressure can your quarterback put on the opposition, and can you get after the opposition's quarterback? That's the NFL today. It really is. That's. I hate to say it, because we all want to talk about, 3 yards on the cloud. The league isn't. Joik, you playing it. The league isn't officiated that way anymore. It's about what your quarterback can do to the opposition, and if you can get after their quarterback. And that's what we saw yesterday. Tom Brady went 21 of 29 for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns. They got after the opposition's quarterback. They're the Super Bowl champions. That's the league today, and it's
Super Bowl champs.
That's the reality of it, man. And you know what? It is.
What else does he have to do to prove he's the greatest of all time?
Well, and when you look at that game, the biggest mistake he made was missing that hike. That was it. Other than that, he got sacked one.
That wasn't his mistake.
And that wasn't even. But that's what I'm saying. He got
so what are you
sacked
talking about?
one time.
All right. So what are you talking about here?
What I'm saying is that was his.
How
that
was
was a
his
mistake.
mistake?
He didn't catch the ball. That's a mistake on his part.
No, it wasn't his. He
doesn't know how to jump.
It was a missnap. He
Right.
wasn't even ready
so
for it.
he missed the snap though.
No, when
it
I
takes
said,
2 to party.
do you know what a missnap means?
I know how I can catch a missnap like nothing.
All right, you're killing us right now.
He missed the snap. Who else didn't see that? It went over his head. He can't move backwards a little bit and catch it.
For the rest of the show, raise your hand. What I'm saying is, he wasn't ready for the snap because he wasn't through his cadence yet. So the center snapped the ball before he even brought his foot up. That wasn't his fault. Anyway, moving forward. That was the opportunity. That was the opportunity. Like that play right there was the opportunity for them to switch or to shift the momentum of the game. And they missed that opportunity to go get, as soon as the ball was snapped, the D-end should have been up the field. They should have been looking at that. Yeah. Right? They should have been looking at that, and they caught it too late, and Tom Brady was able to jump on the ball. But if that's 6 going the other way, right, that's 6, that's changing the momentum of the game. That's getting your team back into it. Your defense is doing something for you. And sad to see their defense didn't come through for them.
Yeah, it was.
In the trenches either.
No, and that's exactly, and I saw somebody say that. In the trenches is part of what I'm saying. I hope you know that. It's, Joik, I've heard you say it 100 times. I don't care if you give an average quarterback time to throw in the National Football League, he's going to pick you apart.
Right.
Period. And so it goes, I agree with Steve, it goes hand in hand. It's what kind of pressure can you put on their quarterback? And that starts with your D-line. That starts with your front seven. And what can your quarterback do with the opposition? And that starts with making sure that your quarterback is clean because, again, guys, look at the Lions. Let's use the Lions as an example, okay? How many quarterbacks did they make look good the last few years because they didn't put pressure on the quarterback? Mitchell Trubisky ate him alive. Mitchell Trubisky, who is not a starting quarterback in this league, okay? They sat back. They allowed him to look at his progressions. They gave him time. They played that soft zone, and he picked him apart because they're not putting pressure on him. I mean, that's the National Football League today, and you saw it play out yesterday. Look, newsflash. Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback today than Tom Brady is.
True.
Okay, he just is, okay? All right? But we saw it play out yesterday. You pressure Patrick Mahomes, he looks mortal. You give Tom Brady time, he kills you.
You know what it is, though? He didn't look mortal. Because even out there with the turf tail, running around and falling to the ground, he was still hitting the receivers in the face with the ball. Like, it's not too many quarterbacks.
Phenomenal.
I mean, falling down, parallel with the ground, back leg, all arm, throws it up, hits the receiver right in the face mask, and he just drops the ball on a 4th down to where they can at least score at the end of the game, right? They can at least score. It's like for pride now. Like we're playing for pride. It just wasn't in sync yesterday as a team.
Do you guys do this? I have to ask all of you. I've done this for years, and I always get to the same point. So yesterday as the game's beginning, they had already introduced Kansas City, and they were getting ready to introduce Tampa. And I don't know if you guys remember, they were down in the tunnel, and they couldn't get one of the doors open, and they finally got the other door open, and Tampa came running out and everything. I have done this ever since I was a little kid, and I did it again yesterday. I try to envision the Lions running out of that door. I do it every Super Bowl Sunday since I was a little kid. And honest to God, I can never envision them running out of the door. I do it that's like, goes back to like me being a little kid. And ladies and gentlemen, the NFC champion Detroit Lions. And then here come the Lions running out in the white uni or the blue uni or whatever. I get right to that point, and then like when they come running out, I'm like, I can't make it work in my mind. But it really is phenomenal because I don't know how many other people do that. It's like, I think of what Super Bowl Sunday would be like if all day long you were hearing chatter about the Lions. Can the Lions finally win a Super Bowl? And it's fine up until that point where I try to visualize them running out onto the field. I can't do it. That's my wall. I literally stop right there. And
Why is that a wall for you?
I don't know. Maybe it's little kid Sean, and I've been hurt so many times.
Listen, is that the same mental block you think is blocking us from really getting there because there's people thinking that way about this franchise? Or you feel it's the franchise that made you guys feel this way? So
Oh, it's the franchise. It's the ineptitude.
So we're brainwashed.
Yeah, it's the ineptitude. It is. Yeah.
So-
Well,
so we want greatness and we want to be that person, but yet, appreciate that.
no, Joik, you know what it is, and I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to pick at anybody here, okay? So you have Michigan football, and you have the Detroit Lions in this general vicinity. Michigan football, because of all their success in the past, has an incredible credit line. They have an incredible. Now I think they've started to run low on their credit, but think about it. They haven't won their conference in 17 years, but still people believe because it's Michigan. You know what I mean? And I say that with respect. I'm not taking a shot. You'll know when I'm taking a shot.
That's a shot.
No, I say that with respect, okay? Because what they had done up to that point to create that credit line can't be denied. But conversely, you have the Lions don't have any credit. Who's going to take a leap of faith with the Lions around here? You got the diehards, right? The diehards are always going to go, I believe no matter who's in there, no matter who the quarterback is, you're going to get guys like that. The group of people that were still saying that Matt Millen was going to get it turned around 2007 going into 2008. But for a majority of people, they don't have a credit line. Nobody's going to take a leap of faith with the Detroit Lions. And really, that's what it comes back to.
I think that you've been hurt so many times. Like I think all of us have as Detroit fans.
Yes.
And thinking that that's even a possibility is so far-fetched, but it's out there in a parallel universe. But, I mean, the Browns made it to the playoffs, so anything's possible, but I think it's going to take multiple years to where we even what would hurt you more, them making it to the playoffs or them making it to the Super Bowl and losing? Because that would be, I mean, you're depression land at that point.
No doubt.
There's nothing that could be worse.
We'll continue the conversation when we come back. Do you want me to do this read here, Adam? I'll do this read. The NFL season has come to an end. The 2021 champs have been crowned. And if you're like me and you've been betting on the NFL all year long, you might be wondering what's next. That's why I like my bookie. Because no matter the sport or season, you can always win big now. I'm talking non-stop action, 365 days a year. Choose from thousands of lines on the NBA, NHL, UFC, and more, because winning season never ends when you play at MyBookie. They truly have something for everybody, and absolutely nobody does prop bets like MyBookie. You can get in on the action from everything, from a celebrity divorce to the winner of the All-Valley Karate Tournament. I'd take that LaRussa kid. Yes, you can really bet on that. And with the NCAA March Madness right around the corner, there wouldn't be a better time to start building your bankroll. Do yourself a favor. Get a head start. Sign up today with promo code Woodward and get your first deposit match halfway up to $1,000. That's free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. The best part is you always have the access to the action, whether you're at home or on the go. Visit the website online at mybookie.ag and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet, win, get paid at MyBookie. More Super Bowl talk next. Don't go anywhere. He's Joik Bell. Art sitting in with us. I'm just Sean Baligian, but I'm glad that you can join us on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey, what's up? Glad you could join us. Woodward Sports. Art got fired during the break. He got voted off the island. Don't blame me. You guys voted for it. Art got voted off the island. I'm sorry, Art. Art will be back with us tomorrow. Adam's sitting in right now.
He had to go.
He had to go.
He had to go. It came from the top.
Let's see. Dwayne said, I'd love for them to win a playoff game before I turn 70. I'm 36. See, here's the thing that people don't understand, all right? And I know my boy Mike is watching right now. I always use this analogy about the Tigers, okay? The Tigers had phenomenal success, right? In the last 10-plus years. Really, if you want to say 15. There was the miraculous run in 2006. There were the division titles. You know, we own the Central thing in 11 and 12 and 13, and then the debacle of 14, as far as I'm concerned. But there was no payoff, okay? And for somebody like my son, my son, you've probably heard me say this before, he loves baseball. That's his thing. If you were to ask him, you know, and Adam and Joik, we can play this exercise right now. Adam, death not an option, your favorite sport. Go. You have
Football.
to pick one.
Football.
Okay. Joik, death not an option, your favorite sport.
Football.
Okay, death not an option for me. I pick hockey, okay? My son is the guy that says baseball. And it sucks for him because there was no payoff. And now we have generations of Tiger fans in this town that have had no payoff. And when I was a kid, I'm telling you, I hated hearing about 1968. I hated it. I hated hearing about the 1968 Tigers.
What was it about the 1968 Tiger that you?
It wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. All everybody did was live in the past and talk about how great 1968 was, and I didn't have my own 1968.
It sounds like you and Mass.
No, but you know what right? Joik, that's the point I'm making.
Sounds
You
like
guys
you
are
and Mass.
probably sick and dog tired of people like me talking about the 84 Tigers.
All right.
Because you want your own 84 Tigers.
No, we don't. No, not.
You don't
that.
want a championship?
No, you know what I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about the 86 Bears.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I get it. Now you understand what you guys don't want to hear me talk about that crap, and so that's the way I was.
Not
as a
at
kid.
all.
So
cut it out. Throw it out your vocabulary.
Here's what's going on.
I have to sit here every day and listen to you talk about
but Joik,
that.
here's what's going on with the Lions. Okay, there are generations of fans now that are probably sick and damn tired about hearing about a playoff win. The people that like me that watch them beat the Cowboys on that cold January day, and they just want a playoff win right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. And I really thought it was going to be your team that delivered. It didn't happen, but that's
Another
where
shot.
we're at right now. No, but that's where we're at right
shot.
now. Is we have a situation where
I'm sorry we couldn't get it done for you, Sean.
that's okay. I saw a playoff win. I feel sorry for the kids out there that and now adults. Like Steve said, I would just be happy to watch them win a playoff.
You know what it
game.
was? When I was playing college ball here, I wanted to be, one of the guys that helped bring a championship to the city. All right. And that's the type. And so throughout my time playing, working for the Lions organization as a security guard and watching these players come in and out of practice and meetings and things of that nature, I would watch these guys and I would want to, envision myself one day being in that position. And so watching the Super Bowl actually being here in Detroit my first year in college, right? And they would come to Wayne State. They would get all the student athletes from Wayne State to come and work different events for. And so this is where we were seeing celebrities like Jay-Z or Beyonce, at that time Kanye West, and you would see all these people at the events. And so I'm like, wow, it would be dope, right, to be able to bring that type of pride to our city and bring home that championship. It would be great. And I remember listening to, I think, a guy who was on the Lions at the time, and they had to give their practice facility away to one of the teams that was in the Super Bowl. And he said it felt weird because he wasn't able to go there and, to work out or use this locker because the team coming in was using it. And he said he hated that. He wanted to go somewhere and take that locker room over because it was like a sign of we're the best, right? We're the best. Move out of the way, and that's what I wanted to bring here to the city, and we fell a little short.
No, but I mean, I hope you understand the point that I'm making because the starting point for a lot of people is exactly what Steve and Kennedy are saying here. There was the Saints playoff loss, there was the Cowboys playoff loss, there was the Seahawks playoff loss. So you're probably sick and damn tired of people like Maz and I, even though Maz wasn't here, talking about, man, that Sunday afternoon, I was high as a kite. Didn't take one drug, didn't smoke anything, edibles didn't exist, but walking out of the Silverdome that day, when they just didn't beat the Cowboys, they beat the shit out of the Cowboys. It was unbelievable. Like, for me, it was like, this franchise finally arrived. This is it. I can stick my middle finger up to both my dad and my grandfather who told me I'm wasting my time with this franchise because it's an awful franchise. And so you guys, I think younger generation, hear that right now and go, shut the hell up. I've never seen anything like that. So that's the interesting point is I think a lot of people, Steve, I agree with you. They just want a playoff win. That's a starting point. Give me a playoff win.
Now, speaking of playoff wins, all right, so Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowl. Gronk had 4. Buck has 2, and now Sue has 1. And we were talking early in the show about, do you think Sue would be a Hall of Famer? And just so you clear, we can run down his stats if you want to as well because he has some good numbers, some great numbers.
For me, Joik, the snob in me says no.
What would he have to do?
Well, you have to be great year in, year out in my book. But since that Pandora's box has already been destroyed, compared to some of the other guys that are in, he's a Hall of Famer. Okay? But for me, I wish we could go back in time and make it a true Hall of Fame where where I say a name and we don't even, there's no debate. There's zero debate, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Hall of Fame. Calvin Johnson, Hall of Fame.
Drew Brees?
Hall of Fame. No question.
Phillip Rivers?
No. If I'm being a snob, in today's Hall of Fame and based on some of the guys that are in, yes. But if I'm being a snob, if I'm saying this is really, truly the Hall of Fame, we can't close that door though. Pandora's box has been opened. They have.
And once
let
you're in, you're in. They can't take you out.
You know what? I will say this. I think the NFL has been better about it than other sports have. I think baseball in particular really was a hall of good in many, many cases. There are, and I know people don't like to hear this around here.
Hall of good.
It is. It's the hall of good. And so when people make the argument, should Alan Trammell be in the Hall of Fame? Well, based on others that are in the Hall of Fame, the answer is yes. Absolutely. Should Alan Trammell be in the Hall of Fame if we're really talking about great players? No, he shouldn't be. But based on who's already there in front of him, yeah, absolutely should be. Yeah. So I'm snobby in that regard. I really think a Hall of Fame should be a Hall of Fame. But based on some of the guys that are in, Joik, yeah, I think Ndamukong Suh's a Hall of Famer. I do. Yeah. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
What was it like playing with him?
Great. Monster. I would have hated to play against him. I would have hated it. I mean, he's one of those players to where if he went too hard in practice, they would shut practice down. Take your helmets off, shoulder pads off, walk through. Because he played that hard, he practiced that hard, and then if you ever, even in practice, if you got on his skin the wrong way, and you're on his radar, like he's gonna bring it to you, and not in a dirty way, but he's playing hard, and between the whistle, nothing dirty. And he at
least with his own teammates.
Huh?
At least with his own teammates.
Yeah, but he was that, he was just that type of guy. He had that grittiness about him, and as teammates, we love that coming from him, and that kind of stuff that he brought to the game. I used to love. I used to love it. Like I fed off of that. A defensive player get a hard hit, they get a sack, they make a big play in a part of a game. And I can realize why Nick Fairley would get so hyped and come and throw his shoulder into me when I made a good run, because those type of things he loves to see. And whenever they get a hard hit, I love to see it. And so we fed off of each other. And so I love playing with Sue.
What's interesting in this town? What usually happens, is you don't see a guy like that become a fan favorite. There was a few year span. Adam, you tell me if you agree or disagree. Joik, you were too busy playing. There was a few year span where I would say that Ndamukong Suh was every bit as loved as Calvin Johnson.
No, he was.
Really, Adam, would you agree?
Oh man, if not more.
Yeah.
Because he was the epitome of the Detroit coaches.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying I agree with what he did, right? But the way he played was just that no prisoners, it's no prisoners. We're not, we want your soul. We're not taking any prisoners. I want it all. When we leave the field, we leave them with body bags. And that's the way he played. Now, I don't agree with what he did after the whistle. That's after the whistle. But it's a lot of dirty stuff that goes on in the game, especially at the bottom of the pile. Poking at eyes, punches, hand, and that's why we wear the face shield, not because it's cool. It is cool, but to protect your eyes. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. And
somebody ever go after your eye?
No, I've just been twisted ankle, at the bottom of the pile, try to twist it, bruised ribs, try to put the elbows in the ribs. I came out of a pile, and we were playing the Bears. I had you can see the white meat. Somebody had something on the field and it clawed through my skin. But yeah, so
hell, really?
Yeah. So I just
settle down, Simba.
Rub some dirt on it. We kept playing. I still might have the scars. I still got a couple of scars right here. But those are my battle wounds, right?
Yeah.
And it could have, you don't know what it was. I had it on both arms, And so it was weird that I had it on both arms. If it would have been on one arm, we could have said, you know what, it could have been a helmet. But no, it was like dug through the skin, see the white meat. They, put some dirt on it, rubbed it. And, they put like some type of, not a padding, but like some strip over it to kind of keep it from getting affected. And, you keep playing. I mean, but it's a lot of stuff that goes on at the bottom of the pile that you don't see on camera, that you can't see. And so you have players like Sue that if something happens or something dirty happen, like, he got your back. Like, and sometimes you might go too far, but in my book, when you out there between the whistle, everything clean, you playing hard, everything's fair game.
It was such an interesting team, though, when you think about it. I mean, just hearing you talk, it's kind of like there were some pretty big fan favorites. That you were a fan favorite, whether you want to admit it or not. Calvin, Sue, and then you had the whole dynamic of Matthew Stafford, which I will never come to grips with it in this town, and that's okay. There were people that loved him. There were people that hated him, and it's the craziest dynamic. I can't compare it to anything, but in terms of fan favorites, Adam, I tend to agree with you. I think Ndamukong Suh, maybe early on in particular, was probably the fan favorite. His first couple years in the league.
Suh was more relatable. You looked at Barry. Barry was majestic. He was an artist. You just appreciated his greatness. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, this beyond more than life human being that was so amazing on the field. And then you had Suh, who you vibed with. He was the city. He was more of a fit with the city than either of the two.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And I would say more of a fit of the city, but more of a representation of what the city really is. That's why I would say he was. Like a representation of how Detroit is. Like the mentality, the scrappiness, and the we're not going to take nothing from nobody. And if you look at it, and I told you guys this before, that if you look at the head coach and you look at usually the team usually resembles the head coach. And at that time, one of our best players resembled our head coach in Swartz.
Steve said Sue had a bad rap with the refs, and there were a lot of BS calls, but he did go over the line a few times. Absolutely, he did.
Hey, what Dwayne say? No Sue slander would be tolerated. No Sue slander would be tolerated.
You remember sometimes when people in my business, when people really, really get mad at you for an opinion. People really, really got mad at me after the 2011 Thanksgiving Day game where I said stop making excuses for Ndamukong Suh. Yeah. When he stomped on Aaron Rodgers and then said, I didn't stomp on Aaron Rodgers. And I'll tell you what, I don't know this for a fact, but something tells me somebody got to him within the Lions franchise and said, you're going to come up with a pre-produced statement explaining why you were wrong about this, because it was a bad look. I didn't stomp on him. What are you talking about? I didn't stomp on him. It was so blatantly obvious. Oh, yeah. And then if you remember the next day there was that.
I can't remember
that statement that came out.
I don't think I was on the team yet. I think that was like 2011.
2011, yeah, Thanksgiving.
So I wasn't there yet, but I saw it and I heard about it, and yeah. But
just don't hurt the team. It's like you said, you can't condone some of the stuff, especially if it hurts the team.
Yeah,
but would I take the bad with the good with Sue? 1,000%.
Yeah, but you tell me what other defensive players, they don't have that mean streak in them, and that's usually the defensive D line. Like, they have to have that mean streak. They have to have it. That's their competitive edge. All right, and so I don't know, man. I have nothing but respect and love for Sue. I love him. I would love to have him on my.
I'd take him back in a heartbeat. You kidding me? Take him back in a heartbeat.
So you think? Speaking of taking back in a heartbeat, you think we'll get him this off? Huh? You think? Should we go get him?
No.
Oh, I thought you'd take him in a heartbeat.
They're not ready. They're not ready to win. There's no way in hell would he come here. He's in the position where he can pick and choose.
You know what's funny though? He's in a position now where he's betting on himself.
Absolutely.
So basically, what that means is, when you get that far along in your career, and this is like year 11 for Sue? No, it might be 12. This is year
2010, right?
Came out 2010 was his first season. Yeah. So like year 11, 12 for him, and you start betting on yourself. And so when you start betting on yourself, you start doing 1 year, 2 year contracts at the most.
Yeah, why would you do it?
Yeah, that's it. Him. Right. You'll do like 1, 2 year, and you get the big paydays, like 10 to 12, 8 to 12 million a year, every single year. Now, the good thing about it is you're going to get paid more. Bad thing about it, if you get hurt, it can jeopardize your following contract year.
Yeah.
But he's one of the guys who he believes in himself because his workout regimen is unmatched.
You know what would be great is if in 2 years from now, if the Lions are where I hope they are, after the next couple seasons. Look, the franchise is basically telling you it's going to take a couple years.
Right.
It's whether you want to listen or not. I mean, I say it all the time.
Yeah.
We're going through this again with the Red Wings. All of a sudden there's some heat on Steve Yzerman. The guy told you not 2 years ago that this was going to take time.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
It's your fault right now. I mean, really. And so that's what the Lions are doing right now. And you're always going to get people, and I'm sure that I'll hear from them here, or Maz, and I say this with respect if you're watching, Maz, that they're always, the sun is shining way up high in the sky, and the Lions are better than what we thought. They're not going to be good next year, and they're probably not going to be good 2 years from now either.
No, they won't.
Wouldn't it be great if the Lions are like where you guys were at in 2011, where you were ready to, and Sue came back? I'd love it.
Yeah. So when I got here in 2011, right? When I got here in 2011, we had 2 away games. So we never had a home game. All right. So we played the Saints, lost against we played the Packers there, lost that one.
Matt Flynn.
And then came back, and then we played the Saints. So I wanted to play that game so bad. So I was
in
the playbook. I was in the playbook. I'm like, I got to be able to play this game. I didn't play that game. We ended up losing, so I had to wait till the following year. So in 2012, for every home game, they'll swap out the starting, or they're going to do the starting defense or the starting offense. And I remember when Sue would come out here, ooh, and I thought they were booing him.
I was loud.
And I said, well, why are they booing Sue? Do they hate Sue here? And I didn't know. And so after the third home game, I'm like, bro, what? That they called out the defense. I'm like, bro, why did they keep booing Sue? He said, they're not booing him. They saying Sue. I said, but it sounds like boo. So every time he came, it would be so loud. So
it was so loud. It really was.
I mean, and he comes out with that. Oh, it was live. It was live.
Joik, it's funny if you.
It was live, man. I give it to him.
That guy, he comes back here. 2 years from now, and he's at the very end, and the Lions are ready to take a step up. And listen, I think they will be. I really, truly do, okay? You got to make the picks count, but this franchise at the early onset seems to get it. They understand they had to blow this up. They understand they had to go in a different direction. They understand they had to go out and get a shitload of draft picks. So to me, that's a start. That's getting that the way they were operating isn't working. Joik, in Ndamukong Suh, you would be a king here. You would be if you thought that people adored you before, can you imagine coming back years later?
Listen, if Sue
when
comes
the
back,
Lions are good.
Listen to me. If Sue comes back, I'm getting in with the French. I'll do something with coaching. I'll come back. I'll do something with coaching with the RB.
Coach Bell. Yeah, are you hearing that? No,
player developer. I'll do something.
Joik, how beautiful would that be?
That'd be great. Because you got to understand, when you have a championship team, you look at the players, you look at the coaches. But you miss out on a lot of the people that's making that happen.
Sure.
Right? The trainers, the cafeteria, the chefs, the player developer guy that's there with the players every single day, that's in the locker room, that's helping these guys get some of the necessary things done off the field. The guy that's telling them where to go, where not to go. The guy that's kind of looking over. That's the player developer guy. You have, the front office people, the scouts. So these are the people that are going to help build this winning franchise. And they've started that with bringing in these coaches. Now, bringing in these coaches, is that going to help us win? Yes, it's going to help us win. But like you talked about, this is a player's game, so we need the players, right? You can take some 19, 20-year-old kids and put them out there on the field that's very talented, right? Or
coach them up.
You got to coach them up. But they might be talented, but they might not be we might need this athlete, and they might be right here, And so we have to make sure we have not only the coaches coming, but we have to have these caliber players that we can work with.
Yep.
That we can work with.
Talent still wins, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Talent wins games. And what I feel like the last regime was trying to do is they were trying to substitute hard work with talent Because they didn't have that much talent, so they tried to substitute it with hard work. And this kind of reminds me of Wayne State. They would kill us. Go out there, we have to run 7 400s time, 10 300s, and then 10 110s all in one day, right? All time. And then do a 20-minute core workout at the end of that workout. And I'm like, why are they doing this? And it's like, we have to make up for our talent with hard work. No one's going to outwork us. Okay, like we need to work smarter, not harder, right? And so the way that we work smarter, not harder is by getting these type of athletes in through the draft, through free agency, freeing up some money in that salary cap, and being able to go out there to free agency. Nah, look at what's that point?
I love it. I love that. That's me going. Listen to the man.
Yeah.
You're dropping some knowledge.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're gonna have to do this period.
No, that's exactly where it's at right now, and in 2 years we can start to have a conversation. And I know people don't want to hear that. And listen, I also know by the time September rolls around, you know what people are going to be saying? People are going to be going, I think you're being too hard on this team. I think this team is better than you give them credit for. I get that. I've heard it 100 times. No big deal. You know what I always say, Joik? The month of August is what I refer to as crazy month. And what I mean by crazy month is everybody, when you're talking about your team, all of a sudden your prediction for your team gets to be a couple more wins. Like all off season long, you're accepting of the fact that this is, a rebuild team. And they'll be lucky if they win 5. But all of a sudden the news starts to filter out about camp happy times, right? And that's what I've always called training camp. Training camp is camp happy times. And Joik, as a guy who played in training camp, you can probably relate to this. Training camp is camp happy times. You know why? All you hear is positive stories. Everybody came in the best shape of their career.
Oh.
Everybody, locker is one.
I tell you this, man. This person came in, we had conditioning. We had our drill. And so we'll do the 300, 25 back, 2-minute break and do it again. You got to make both your times under 55 seconds. And you had a guy who missed a whole off season who had to come and do it. So he ran the first one. He made the time, 2-minute break, and he started the second one. And I remember Sue actually being the pace setter, so he went out there with him and he set the pace for the first 100, right, for the first 100, and he had to basically keep that pace. And when I tell you that he was in negotiation the whole offseason, but when he came back, he made his times, but when he finished that last one, you know what? Those 300 do something to you, Sean. They do something. I mean, the worst, and and they make it terrible because the 25 back, 26 time, that is probably one of the worst ways to run a 300. Usually you want to do like 100 back or 50 back, 50 back, 50 back. That's easier because you can use the momentum to kind of push you. But when you got to do 25 back and you got to come out that break, that does something to you. And that, when I tell you, it broke him down right before training, because you have to pass that test before you can go into training camp.
Yeah.
Right. And so he passed the test. I'm not gonna say his name, but it was hilarious. He was one of our star players too. We have guys who come in for training camp like 20 pounds overweight, 30 pounds overweight. I'm like, what have you been doing?
But you never hear about it. You know it.
No.
All you hear, that's why I call it camp happy times.
Yeah.
Have you seen Nick Fairley? He looks like the player he was his sophomore year in college. And it's like, the hell are you talking about? No, he doesn't. But it's camp happy times. That's Joik had his best 40 sign time ever. It was fun. A couple of years ago, Joik.
Oh, look, somebody said that was Nate B. You know what though? You know what Coach Schwartz never did? Any player that was year 10 on up never had to do a conditioning test because he had so much respect for people who can play 10 years in this league.
Guys love that.
And you do love that. That make you want to get to 10 years.
Yeah, right.
And so that was like year 10 for him, and he was saying like, listen, you don't have to run the conditioning test because you 10 years in. Anybody 10 years plus, they don't have to do it.
I was out at camp a few years ago. It was Kenny Galladay's first camp, okay? And Joik, I'm not joking. Sunday afternoon, right in front of you know where the media sits at the facility in Allen Park?
When you first come into the left?
Yeah. So we're all sitting there, and they basically had this red zone drill right in front of us. Kenny Galladay, I'm not joking, owned every single player on the team. And when I say every single player, I mean every single player, including an all-pro cornerback who has been on this show. Owned them, ate them alive. And I tweeted out, and I went on Facebook, and I said, I'm not writing checks for the guy. I'm not saying he's going into the Hall of Fame. But I just watched Kenny Galladay destroy literally decimate the entire secondary of the Detroit Lions in this drill. And it was funny because then people threw at me and they were going, "Oh, Baligian, you're going Camp Happy Times." And I'm going, "No, I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm not writing it." But I actually saw that. But the interesting thing is, Joy, that's why I call it Camp Happy Times. You never hear any negative stories. And everybody, you know what?
I'm going to tell you this.
For the first time in my career, all 53 guys are on the same page. You roll the eyes and everything. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? Yeah. Like if I could do a meme, I'd do a meme right there, right? Yeah. So, yeah, Camp Happy Times was real,
Camp Happy
man.
Times.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing about being a great player, all right, it's been available. You have to be available. And what does that mean? Be healthy enough to be able to be productive on the field week in, week out. The best thing a player can ever do for his franchise is be available. And that's a quote from Bill Russell, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm paraphrasing. It might be a little different, but it's along those lines. And like you said, I think Kenny Galladay, he has the talent. He just has to make sure he's healthy enough to be available.
No question.
And understand that the NFL is 100% injury rate, but we have to be able to be doing the things off the field to help us to recover faster when an injury does occur. And I'll give you a perfect example. I did a food sensitivity test when I played. What is that?
Flu sensitivity?
No, food sensitivity test when I played. So basically what it is, you might not have an allergy to certain food, but you'll have an intolerance, all right? And so for me, the things I was eating that I thought was healthy, like, egg whites, spinach, kale, strawberries,
beef
banana,
short ribs, brisket.
Actually, no, none of those things. So you have like food sensitivity. So you have like they'll give you something with different columns. There's about 4 different columns. You have a red column, a orange, a yellow, and a green. Green you can eat all the time. Yellow you can eat you can eat once a week. Orange you can have probably like once every few months, and then red you have to stay away from it. Some of the things that I was eating every day, I ended up building a intolerance towards it. So it was causing my body to swell and causing, and so now my body is trying to get rid of the swelling from the food and also swelling from the football field. And so when I eliminated those foods from my diet and I was only eating from the green, right? It helped me to recover faster because now my body only had to recover from my football injuries that I sustained.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, totally.
So everything, so all the small things that you're doing off the field, like it really matters what you eat. It doesn't affect you as much in your early on in your career, but as you get farther along in your career, it becomes crucial, right? It could be the matter of you retiring or getting a few extra more years. But people don't understand that, doing yoga, and it was good to see Double A on the show, Amir Abdullah, come on the show and kind of tell us about how he's doing yoga now. He's doing different things with his diet. He's noticing different things about himself that, wow, if I would have known this early on in my career, I probably could have been farther along, right? And so this is crucial.
It's fascinating to hear you say that because if I had a dime for the amount of times I hear athletes say what I've heard you say with your own 2 mouths, I wish I paid attention to nutrition earlier. That's part of it, though, Joy. You're young and you feel you're invincible. And trust me, that goes on into your 40s. I was a guy, Joy, seriously, all jokes, in my early 40s, like when I was doing the games with you, I was a $185, and I could go take off on a 5-mile run if I ate a pizza. All right, later.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just gonna run it off. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I hurt my leg.
It's those big
I
short
can't do
ribs.
it anymore. So now I do like all jokes. I have to back off a little bit,
Listen,
man.
I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
Go do a food sensitivity test and
I don't
see.
want to think about it.
Go do it and just see what happens.
Art, you in? Art's back in the house.
Oh,
Hi, Art.
snaps. What happened?
Hi, Art.
It's musical chairs today. As far as intolerances, I have a gluten intolerance. I don't know if it's an allergicness, but I've had stomach issues since I was 5 due to gluten. So since quitting it, I've had no stomach issues. So I know, being an athlete myself, I know exactly what Joik is talking about. Exactly.
Art, you're honestly, you're a piece of gold. I hope you understand that. You bring
Piece
gold
of gold? I had another word. Piece of gold?
Aren't you you're so spontaneous with it, and then his comebacks are so spontaneous. So it's like gold and silver together. You know, you can't have one without the other.
Piece of gold.
Yeah,
definitely
Steve
not the
said,
word.
imagine ribs and brisket are bad for me. No, they're wonderful for me.
You would tear that list up.
You know what, though?
I'm going to tell liars and propagandists.
Hey, listen, Sean, I would tell you this, though. If you take that test and you see things in your red column, orange columns, yellow, now that doesn't always stay that way. And so you might go off of it for like 4 to 5 months and then do another test. And the things that were in the red might be in the yellow now, right? It's just when you eat things constantly over and over and over, your body needs time to be able to filter that out. And when you have so much in your system, it needs that break. And that's sometimes why I juice.
You know what? My son was told that he had that gluten intolerance when he was about 8 years old, okay? Mm-hmm. And then when he took it again about 5 years later, I'm sorry to come, it was gone.
Right.
And the doctor said sometimes that happens. Because, like, he literally, I mean, imagine this, an 8-year-old kid, they said, don't eat pizza anymore. Like, you can't do it. Or you have to get the gluten-free pizza.
Look how it correlates.
No, that's funny that you say that.
The gluten-free pizza isn't that bad. With me, I kind of stopped eating pizza, and now it's just chicken wings, because for the most part, as long as there's not seasoning or sauces that have gluten, I could have chicken wings. But Joik's talking about like a paper diet. Like, you have paper, and then sometimes you could have ketchup. And it's like, no, I don't want that. Don't tell me how to live my life.
So listen, we're gonna come back, and some people are saying this was the worst year for commercials.
Oh yeah.
There was one that like made me cry hysterically, and maybe I'm showing my age, but I was literally like laughing my butt off because it's also a running gag for me, and I've actually done it since we started doing a show. We'll come back, get into that, some more Super Bowl thoughts. Of course, we're going to get back into Calvin Johnson as well. Good news is it seems like progress is being made with Calvin and the Lions. You love to hear that. Before we hit the break, though, with the average price for an ounce at Michigan's dispensaries being hundreds of dollars, why not just grow your own? With just one light, you can pull down 48 ounces of your own green every harvest. Do the math and then head to Grow Green. They have everything you need in a staff of growers to help guide you as well. Check out the dank deals at growgreenmi.com to score some insane deals like bags of Ocean Forest for just $9 and 100 milliliter Clonex gel for only $12. And the sticker shock of dispo prices, and start growing your own today with the help of the team at Grow Green. Remember to mention Woodward Sports for a free shirt. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of the commercials, get into Calvin Johnson, first ballot Hall of Famer. You betcha. Don't go anywhere. It's Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking Thorogood boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, what's up, guys, man? Right back with the Baligian and Bill show, and we're going to get right into it. Super Bowl commercials down this year, and I think it's been down for quite a bit. I was talking with a few friends, Art, and how did the commercial for the Super Bowl become so big? Right.
Yeah. I think it's with advertising and everything, it's just increased value. It's $1 million to get a commercial on. It's nuts.
No, it's more. It's like, I think at one point in time, I think it's like $1 million every few seconds.
It's nuts.
And so I think it's like $5 to $6 million for a 30-second commercial. I think this got started back when, I could be wrong, fact check me on this, but when Apple did a commercial, I think back in the 80s. I think Steve Jobs started it because I don't think he could afford to do commercials all the time. So what he did was, I think he tried to go to see when are the most people watching TV.
Yeah.
Right. And so he said the Super Bowl. And so he bought a commercial for the Super Bowl, and he did the very first commercial there. Big commercial, and then I think that's when it started to take off with the commercials.
Yeah.
And now you have Doritos, you have Cheetos, you have all these different. Duck down. Yeah. All right. What's up, Sean?
How you doing?
Oh, see, he was so nice to me for a second. Him and I were having a great conversation. Hi, Sean. Anyway, let me turn my chair and get back to the real star of the show. Anyway, go ahead, Joik. We were having a great moment.
Yeah,
That's
it
all
was.
I
So we were
saying.
talking. No. It's a great show. So anyway, so Apple started in the '80s with they had the commercial. I forgot what commercial it was. So it was before my time. Before my time. But that's when all the hoopla started with the commercials of Super Bowl. Now it's kind of died down over the past couple of years because like a lot of these people. Like a lot of the major companies, they're not really doing.
There was a lot of advertisers that pulled this year due to COVID. You know,
yeah,
the commercials,
but you also look at some of the biggest businesses. They're not really doing commercials. I mean, they are but look at Tesla. Tesla don't have any commercial. They don't do any marketing.
Well, and companies like Coca-Cola have pulled back their social media advertising too. Like they're like, we're not doing it this year. And I didn't see a single, correct me if I'm wrong, a Coca-Cola commercial in years really.
And they had a lot of commercials. They had one with Beavis and Butthead. It just didn't make sense. You saw that one?
Yeah, I did. It was outdated.
Huh?
It was outdated.
Yeah,
Can I say this? I want to make a social comment on this and see if you guys agree. I think this has been the deepest, darkest year in any of our lifetimes. Is that safe to say? With the political unrest,
100%.
with the George Floyd situation, with COVID, this has been a shitty year.
Yeah.
Okay, 2020 was a shitty year. The worst year of all our lives, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the commercials missed
Yeah,
the
I
mark
agree.
yesterday.
I agree with you.
It was too deep and too dark.
You got to think how bad 2020 was. Like it was
lighten it
horrible.
up.
I
Well,
mean,
you know how many-
the political things that was going on. Shit, I
Lighten it up.
met Art. There's a lot of things happening in 2020.
No, have fun. If I have to hear, and I know I've said this before, if I have to hear now more than ever one more time, I might shave my head. Like I'm done. I'm done.
You know,
just
what really drove me nuts? I got milk shamed. All of us did. Did you see that? Like milk without the milk, and it's some weird dude playing a piano in the middle of the. What are you doing? I shouldn't be shamed because I like milk. Like, what are we doing here? You wasted $1 million, $2 million on that.
This is a sports show, but did you guys? Did Elon Musk buy $1.5 billion?
Yes, he did, and Bitcoin's up to 44,000 now.
No way.
I know, and you know, Joik always talks about. I just want one. You know, he's got like 500 of them or something.
It's 43. It's 43,000.
Yeah, 43,000.
It's 43.
No, but I'm going to give you an example, okay? And I know there are some people that absolutely positively, and I'm guessing he's one of them. I don't know this for sure. Bruce Springsteen, okay? That commercial could not have missed the mark more.
Yeah.
Could not have missed. I don't want to hear it.
Well, people want funny.
I don't want to hear it.
I thought the John Cena Mountain Dew one, it was lighthearted. It was
just
you know,
all lighten up. I'm sick of telling people how they should live their life and being told how I should live my life and having a listen. At the end of the day, you know what? At the end of the day, we're not going to come together. It's not happening, okay? And that's okay.
There's too many idiots on this planet to come together.
There are just way too many idiots, and there are people they're never gonna look at me and accept me, and they're never gonna look at Joik and accept Joik. It's okay.
Yeah.
Quit preaching to people, for goodness sake. I'm so done with it. That Jeep commercial could not have missed the mark more. And it's funny because I saw some people bring this up. Steve, the Cheetos commercial, I was literally in tears. The whole "wasn't me" thing with Shaggy. You know, and Ashton Kutcher and Mila. I was laughing my ass off at that. That was hysterical.
Yeah, it was.
That's the stuff I think, in my opinion, just one man's opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right. I thought that a lot of the commercials were, here comes that term that I hate to use, but I'm going to use it anyway. I thought they were tone deaf. Lighten up. 2021 is supposed to be better. We all want to honestly believe that 2021 is going to be better than 2020 was. I just thought a lot of those commercials were too heavy. and it made me go, you know what I mean? Have some fun, lighten up, man. You know, we just went through some shit in 2020.
Right.
I think it's understanding your audience too. Like
I
I don't
agree.
want the light piano and the dog in the woods and this and that, and like we must all be one, like you had said, Sean. Like I want to not think about politics during the time of the Super Bowl. I want to completely turn off those social media aspects and everyone chirping, and I want a fun Super Bowl. And there was a couple commercials here and there that were great, but for the most part, last year's was terrible too. Like
Listen, there are very important there are very important social issues that we all have to subscribe to, okay? Right. I mean, there are things that we all have to, that doesn't mean that I'm not down with this cause or that cause. But you know what? Time and place. And I think after the year that we had, everybody deserved a smile last night. Instead, I felt like I was being preached to. And I just, you want me to walk out of the sermon? Preach to me. I'm turn around, walk my ass right back to my ribs. Or I'll fire something else on there. And that was the issue that I had. I felt that a lot of the commercials were tone deaf. We've had enough deep, haven't we? Let's smile.
Do you think, Joey,
let's think about good thoughts.
Joey, have you ever cried during a commercial? I don't see you as a man that cries, but has there ever been a commercial that's really hit you? Like Google put out one, I think it was last year, that really got to me, but I just don't see you showing that many emotions.
All right, you know what? Since there's okay, are you ready to laugh at me? Okay, I'm going to confess this, and you guys are all going to make fun of me, okay? And because, like, Art just brought it to a screeching halt. So, as you well know, it was my daughter's birthday the other day, right? And something I didn't know about my daughter is she loves the movie Steel Magnolias. Are you familiar with Steel Magnolias?
I never heard of it.
Like Dolly Parton. I forget who else.
I never heard of it.
I watch Steel Magnolias with my daughter. That's her favorite movie.
What is it about?
The Southern women and death, okay? And I watched it with my daughter, and I started crying, and my daughter is never going to let me forget it for as long as I live. Because I think it was it was my daughter that really begged me to watch the movie. And I'm going, okay, honey, sure. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, this 2 hours is going to be miserable, but smile. It's her birthday. Be happy. I watched the movie. It hit me like you wouldn't believe. And I was like, I am crying over Steel Magnolias.
You're crying over dropping tears.
A commercial though, Art? No.
You know
Drake,
what?
When was the last time you cried?
When they brought you on the show. Literally, like I sat in the corner of my room for 2 hours in a cold sweat, thinking to myself, God, why me?
God, why me?
Why me? Oh, Grammy Whammy's on. Hey, Grammy Whammy, how are you?
Oh, listen to him now. The tides have turned.
Hey, Grammy
Hi,
Whammy.
Grammy Whammy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, you. Oh, nothing. Just having a conversation with the fellas.
Stop it, Joy.
You play the role so well.
She just wrote "Stop it, Joy." Isn't that beautiful? Hi, Greg. My fellow pal,
Stop
Art.
it.
We're
She knows
today. Hello, Arthur. How are you this fine morning?
Stop it, Joy. All right, Grammy Whammy. Hey, all right, man. Let's start over.
Did anything? No. Did any other commercial jump out to you guys?
It was no.
You pay attention to it?
I tried to watch a couple of the commercials. I just could not get into the best commercial. Probably the Cheetos one. Mm-hmm. That was probably the best. I didn't see any other good like commercials.
Somebody said the DeChambeau one where he knocked off the Muppet's arm with his golf swing.
The Wayne's World one with Cardi B was good. I mean, it was decent. I can't stand Cardi B, but
Sesame Street, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't. You know what? The story about the little girl that they adopted, even though it was deep.
Yes.
And her becoming the swimmer with no legs. Again, maybe because I was sitting next to my daughter, it just kind of hit home.
You know what? You know, they had a commercial. It wasn't during the Super Bowl, but there's one commercial that I felt it was Super Bowl worthy. I think it was an Amazon commercial, and there was a girl on a rooftop, and she was training for a ballet recital, and it was canceled. It was canceled due to COVID, right? But she had been practicing her butt off, and so the guy, and she lived in this high rise, and you had other high rises around it. So this guy, like people can see her like practicing on this rooftop, and so what her little sister did would start making invitations for people around the apartment complex to kind of look out their windows to the rooftop. And the guy got the invitation, and so he ordered a spotlight that he can shine it on her during her performance. And she didn't know that her little sister did it. And so at the end of the commercial, we show her going out onto the rooftop in the snow, and had the music. Her sister had the music playing, and she did a recital on the rooftop for the entire.
That was a great commercial.
That's the type of commercial that should have been on for the Super Bowl.
I agree with you.
Right.
Absolutely.
That was a touching. That was a touching commercial, and that was one of the commercials. I was like, you know what? That was very beautiful. That was a beautiful commercial, and it touched me. I didn't cry.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
Come on,
I didn't cry, but it made me feel a type of way. I didn't cry. But
you can share your feelings.
Right, as a parent,
raise your hand.
As a parent, okay. What gets me is the kid stuff.
And what it was though for me was because my daughter's in ballet.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought about my daughter.
That's what I'm talking about.
And stuff like that hits home. Like if I didn't have my daughter, I don't know how I would have felt. But with my daughter, I feel like my daughter does ballet. This reminds me of my daughter. And it's just, and that's what it was to me. And it made my heart smile.
There's not art. In art, this as a parent, Maz, this as a parent. And I hate to say this to those of you that aren't parents. You are not mentally capable of realizing how much you can love something until you have kids. You can't fathom it. It opens up a world that I can't explain it. It just and I see little things and think about both my kids, and they're older, 21 and 16, but just the pride that I have for them, or things that they've overcome in their life and stuff like that. And that's the stuff that just, like, if that doesn't hit you, I don't think you have a heart beating in your chest, man.
Yeah, you don't. And
I will say that it is a beautiful thing when your kids get to the age where they could say I love you and everything, but nothing annoys me more than when I ask my daughters, like, you love your dad? No, I love mom. That is the most that hurts me. I cry.
And why so you mad at your daughter for telling you the truth?
Well, I just want her to love me more than she loves her mom. I mean, honestly.
I don't see that happening. Your wife is a beautiful woman with a great heart.
She's in the video. If you want to give her a shout out, Joik, she's watching. My wife's watching right now. Go ahead, tell her how great she is.
She's great.
You can't.
To be able to deal with this every single day, every day of your life, like, you know what though? It's funny though. It's funny though. I bet whenever Art comes home, like, she fake sleeps, like, just so she don't have to talk to him, just fake sleep. Hey, babe, how far are you away? About 15. Okay, I'm gonna lay down for a minute.
Trisha said, I'm cooler. She just chimed in and said, I'm cooler. There's a lot of that.
I like that.
He's liking. He never likes any comments on Facebook ever.
Like
he never likes anything on Facebook ever.
That.
But hitting that like button.
Yeah, love Trish. Hey Trish, did you try the Oreo cookies with the milk though? I'm getting texts from this guy during the game asking me about cookies. You told me to put them in the cup and do what with them? Like, quit asking my secrets, man. Don't ask me my secrets. Quit.
All right, so we have a group text, right? Like, with everybody at Woodward Sports.
I don't know who added Art in there.
Well, and it's funny, the group text is going crazy. It's just going off during
I had
the
100 plus texts during the Super Bowl.
And it was really funny because I knew there were two guys that weren't going to be really participating a lot, and it was Tom Mazaway and me. There were just two guys that weren't. We just weren't going to be participating a lot. You just you're doing other things and everything. But I must confess, when Art sent us the picture of the gluten-free Oreos, and then Joik, like, it was almost like a commercial because you explained it so deliciously.
Yeah.
At that moment, I had to have that. It was like, if that.
Did you try it?
No, because I didn't have any. And you know how I am during the Super Bowl. If it's not within my reach, I'm not going to get it.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's just the way that I am. But, like, the way that you described it, you're like, you crush those up with the spoon.
He said it like
and
a commercial.
And I'm going, tell me more. It was like an erotic sex phone or something for food addicts like me.
It was like It was like the Homer Simpson donuts.
Tell me more, Joy. And you get that scoop of ice and you stir it in there, and I'm going,
no, ice cream. It's just Oreos. You take them, you break them apart, you put them in a cup. You take some milk. You can either have it warm or cold. I usually do cold. Put it in there. and I let it, no, it doesn't get too soggy, but just enough where it gets a little soft to where, you chop it up and you kind of eat it like cereal. Your wife said, "You mean like cereal?" Like cereal.
Because I don't like soggy stuff. So
It
you
doesn't
said
have to
that,
get-
and I was
you
like,
don't have- it doesn't have to be soggy. You can eat it like when you want to eat it. Like it doesn't.
I thought you would give a
But
better
the
description.
way you made it, it reminded me of like a blizzard. When the blizzard mood hits me, like in the spring and summer, it's like I grab my keys and I run out the door, and I never know when the blizzard mood's gonna hit me.
Yeah, it's
it's just like I'll go because there's a little place near us, and I go, Lauren, and she looks at me and she goes, yeah. We don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
We don't even have to. She knows.
Kennedy
She knows
has
it.
the
Hold
direct
on.
quote.
Hold
It's
on.
time
All
to go to custard time.
All right, hey, direct quote. Put them in a cup, add milk, and chop them up with a spoon and enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's a copy. That's a direct copy and paste. Cause that's my slang and everything.
And enjoy.
Chop them up
And enjoy.
And enjoy.
and enjoy.
That's the key.
You know what though? So I had the homeboys over. So I had Mike Weber came over, watched the game, and I said, "You want to go to the studio with me tomorrow?" He said, "Yeah, I'll go with you." And he was sleeping in the guest room when I left. He was asleep, and he said, "Why you want to take me with you, Jay?" With the sad eyes on here. Sorry, Mike. I'll bring you next
Mike,
time.
you
We'll
come
bring you
down
on the show.
anytime.
Yeah.
For real.
You're
come
here
down
all week.
anytime.
We're here all week. You can come in tomorrow.
Come in anytime. Come sit with us, man.
Yeah, we'll chop it up.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Yes.
You know what though? You know when you're in class and the teacher say you want to talk, raise your hand. But if you talk while you're raising your hand, I'm not going to call on you.
Sean looked at me and gave me the eyes.
No. Did he say? Go ahead, Art.
He literally said you pointed.
Art.
I kind of did.
You gave him the eyes.
I did.
Come on, Sean. You got to run that through me. You got to run that through. You got to.
Whammy, whammy. You better
Can
get
I
your
just-
boy. You better get your boy.
Can I ask you? You are liking stuff on Facebook, and Joy, I sent
Mike Weber and
as a friend, I sent you a friend request, and I just feel like my wife has a better chance of getting an ad before I do, and that upsets me.
You talking on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm
You
sorry,
said you were maxed out on friends. You're
I'm
not.
maxed out on friends. I'm maxed out.
You're not.
I'm
You're
maxed
lying right now. And you know
I'm
what?
maxed
I don't
out.
want this friendship anymore. Sean and I are
No,
friends.
don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I'm upset.
No, don't
Grammy
do
Whammy,
that.
this is what
Don't
I'm
give
talking
up.
about.
Don't give
Hey,
up.
Grandma, do you hear? Like you used to tell me, do you hear his tone? Do you hear his tone? He said his tone is here. His tone is like at a 9. It needs to be at a 2.
Grammy Whammies are so wise, aren't
Yeah.
they? Like they
Yeah.
are. They're
Check
just,
his tone.
No, just listen to Grammy Whammy though. I think life will be better if you listen to Grammy Whammy.
Yeah, Grammy, do you hear his tone is up here? It needs to be at a 2.
Look, sends friend request. Trisha said sends friend request. Art,
Don't do it, Trish.
Art, Joke's not friends with me. He doesn't follow me on Twitter.
Isn't that
Yes, I
disappointing?
do follow you on Twitter. I do follow you on Twitter.
And then he's got people over
I
at
don't-
his house, but I didn't get an invite to a Super Bowl
I'm never
party.
on Twitter.
It's fine.
You don't follow me
I'll
either.
live.
I
It's
followed
okay.
you on IG. Though.
I'm sick of
Mass.
this diva talk.
You know, I have to get someone to run my social media
I
account
told
I'm
you,
never
I'll
on
do
there.
it.
No, you're not touching my stuff. You're not touching
Can
me.
you imagine Art running jokes? Oh my gosh, that would be the greatest. That would be so.
No
Hey
way.
guys, it's me checking in again on behalf of Joy Bell.
No. Heck
Joy
no.
loves the weekend. There'd be pictures of the
Oh
weekend
my
all
God!
over the place.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? What? That he gets my password and locks me out and start doing this weekend lover boy stuff? Can you imagine that? Posting stuff on the Super Bowl of the halftime show that was horrible.
Oh, look at, you know what? Joy doesn't follow me on anything.
The disrespect,
Hashtag pain.
man.
Who's that?
You come in at 10:58, lead by 1, and you don't follow anybody. Unbelievable.
I'll come in. I do my job. I'll put up with you. I'll put up with you.
I'm always on time.
Hey, yo, play that video.
No, that's
Always
outstanding.
on time. I gave you my all.
Maz just sent me this. None of the 13 winningest programs in D1 history are currently ranked in the AP poll. Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, Temple, Syracuse, UCLA, Notre Dame, St. John's, Indiana, Arizona, Utah, Cincinnati. Do you know what I hate? And we hear this a lot during college football season. You can't use COVID as an excuse. I'm sorry. COVID's affecting everybody. So when I hear people, well, you know what? It was tough because it was a COVID year. Yeah, it was a COVID year for everybody, right? It was a COVID. Everybody was affected by it. Now, in some states, maybe you were a little more affected by it, and you have to acknowledge that. But what a lame excuse! I mean, give the less thans more credit than that, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. I don't know about you guys. I heard that during football season. Well, he had to navigate COVID. Well, that coach didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Bama didn't. Ohio State didn't. What are we talking about here? What an awful excuse that's been. Steve said Michigan number 3. They're legit. I'm going to say it again, man. If you haven't embraced them yet, embrace them. That is legit. And quite frankly, when you look at what Juwan is doing, like on the recruiting path, it's only going to get better. I mean, that is real. They're not talking about what they're going to do like Michigan football has. They're doing it. They're actually doing it. That's real. That deserves applause. That's not talk. That's not chatter.
Mm-hmm.
It's real.
It's real talk. You know
that's real.
You know what else is real?
What?
That friend request I just sent to church. Hey, make sure you accept it.
You literally sent a friend request to my wife. What is wrong with you? You are an evil, evil man. You really are. You play this part of like, oh, I'm nice, Joik, and then you're requesting. You guys are going to be talking about Oreos now. Look at, why are you doing that with your eyebrows, bro?
Steve, yes. Pulling through on Harbaugh's promise before Harbaugh. Yes. I hope you get my point now. That's not, like, I'm not being hater. That's real. That isn't telling you what you're going to do. They're doing it. And that, to me, that, I don't care who you root for. That's to be applauded. What he's doing at Michigan right now, bro, that's real. That's not just wait, you'll see. Wait till he gets his guys in here and all the other excuses that have come up so far during Harbaugh's regime. This is real. You know, we'll wait and see where it ends, but to me, this is only the beginning for Michigan and under Juwan Howard. Are you guys friends now?
bro?
Are you guys friends now?
Yeah.
What is that? This is the worst day of my life. I don't want to produce anymore.
Trisha said we are BFFs now.
Hey,
That's so
hey, you see Jenna? You see Jenna?
Stop
Uncle Joe
laughing.
needs to come over and see the kids.
That would be Joy's playing with Art's kids. They're talking how cool mom is, and Art's just sitting in the corner.
Can
like
you imagine?
this.
Can you imagine Art going home after a 12-hour shift and say, "Kids, you love me?" They say, "No, we love Uncle Joy."
This is the worst day of my life.
Is Uncle Joyke gonna stay for dinner?
Yeah.
Uncle Joyke, will you read me bedtime story? Oh, is that great? Hey, we're going to talk about the Calvin Johnson situation when we come back as well. Look, no-brainer, Hall of Famer. That's not even a debate. Like, to me, why waste your time? I'll say it again. I said it earlier in the show in case you... This Hall of Fame class is sick. This might be, I'm not joking, this might be the best Hall of Fame class ever. And I'm not trying to give you an overstatement, but, I mean, when you think you got Peyton Manning, you got Calvin as your wide receiver 1, you got a great lineman in Alan Faneca. You got a wide receiver 2 in Drew Pearson. You got a phenomenal defensive player in Charles Woodson. I mean, this is just a sick, sick Hall of Fame class. But we'll talk specifically about Calvin when we come back. Don't go anywhere. He's Joik Bell. I'm Sean Baligian, of course. Art in the house as well. Somebody be friends with Art. I'm friends with Art on Facebook. I always talk to you, Art, and give you love.
Now they're
on
saying
social
give
media.
my wife a ride in the Tesla. Can we please go to commercial so I can quit this job?
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of the show. Joik,
Yes, sir.
your first impression of becoming a teammate of Calvin Johnson, because you have a unique perspective. I think everybody knows your background. You were a star here at Wayne State. You worked at Ford Field. You knew of Calvin Johnson. You saw Calvin Johnson, but Calvin Johnson becomes your teammate. And I know on a personal level, you guys are friends as well. But what was your impression of Calvin Johnson, seeing it up close and personal?
Freaking nature.
Yeah.
Not fair. Creative player. Cheat code. All those things. The things you see him do in practice, right, were unbelievable. And then to see him doing it in the game, it was unbelievable then, but we weren't surprised. I remember he did a post route, and Stafford threw it to where only he could get it. But I remember Lou Delmas jumped up as high as he could with one hand. I mean, he was up there. He was really up there. And Calvin, I'm no lie, had to be probably both hands to like this blue thing right here and catching it out the air over Lou just with one hand reaching for his. I mean, it's high. You know, Calvin just goes up with two and just so casually. And then that's when I saw him in practice. I was like, wow, this guy he's that. Yeah. Right? He's that. And the first time of me seeing him play in person was actually the game against the Saints in the 0-16 year. My first game at the Lions. And I remember him coming off the line, his first 10 steps, he was doing a comeback. And the way he came off the line, you could have swear he was running to go. He came out so powerful. And within like 3 to 4 steps, he was at 10 yards, probably like 3. I mean, coming out, and so powerful, broke down, came back, caught the ball. And I remember my brother-in-law at the time was telling me that he said, because he played wide receiver at Western Michigan, he said Calvin had the most powerful steps coming out of his break he's ever seen.
Is it the wide receiver that I know from Western Michigan, who was also on Wayne State staff?
No. You're talking about
Steve Neal.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about
you don't have to say
Paul Source.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Source.
Okay.
And he was, I think he might be top 100 players to ever play at Western Michigan. And then he was an FBI agent here, but I remember him having me on the sideline with my all SS pass. I felt like the man, all because of him, And I'm on the sideline, and I'm watching the game on the sideline, which was a cool experience. And so that was my first time seeing Calvin up close and personal, and then coming to the Lions and playing here. What he got, first ballot, 7th player in NFL history to get on the first ballot as a wide receiver is much deserving, and he deserves more than that.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to say it again because, as I said, I had some conversations with people over the weekend talking about how the Lions need to make this right. This isn't even as much, in my opinion, about Calvin Johnson. It's about how bad the Lions look for squabbling over $1.6 million with a stud, because you don't see other teams doing it. In case you missed it, the Indianapolis Colts let Andrew Luck keep $24.8 million. Thanks for everything you've done for us. I get it. You want to ride off into the sunset. It wasn't good timing, but best of luck to you. And Joik, you know this better than I do. Unfortunately, right or wrong, okay? Because in some cases, and we've talked about it here, I think the Lions get a bad rap for some things, and some things they do not. Right or wrong, there is a reputation about the Lions that they don't take care of their players, that they don't take care of them while they're here, and they certainly don't take care of them after they're here. And multiple former players have said to me, I've heard it with my own 2 ears, that they never really felt welcomed here until the last few years. If you want to change a narrative, then change.
That's true.
Change.
I remember playing here, and they really didn't let like the old players come back to the facility, right? I never understood. I never knew why, but when Caldwell was here, you started to see more people coming back around, right? And so when he was here, I remember he was more family oriented. So they would have like different events where you can bring your kids, you can bring your wife, your significant other, and have like a family day at the facility, which was like something dope to have, like a dad day, because we're always away from my kids because we're always sacrificing time here. So we have a day to where it's like dad day, you bring in the kids and you can be with the family, and it's just like you go on the field. They have different things there, like paint your face. They had different, like a person comes in and They give you different things on how to be a better dad. Write a letter about something that you did with your dad that made you happy. So I'll bring my nephew as well. I'll bring my nephew as well, and they'll write down the time they spent with me on a piece. I don't know what it is. They'll just write it down. All right, and I write down like a time I spent with them, and then they'll give it to me, and I give them my letter, and that was about 6 years ago. I still have those letters in my desk, so I pull my desk out. I can read those letters.
That's awesome.
It's great. So it's things like that he did, and other players will come back that used to play, and they'll come back for it. And it was a good time. It was a good time. We got a chance to meet with these people, network, and that's what we need to continue to do and bring back.
Changing your reputation is worth far much more than $1.6 million. And that's what I would say to Mr. Wood if I saw Rod Wood. And Joik, I know you and I both feel the same way. For whatever reason, and I don't know the reasons, Rod Wood seems to draw the ire from a lot of people in Lion Nation, and I can't quite figure it out. Because I can tell you this, I think Rod Wood gets it, and he gets how a franchise should be run, and he gets that a game day experience should have modern Wi-Fi, and he gets that it's important to invite all these players back. And Joik, it was great talking to you out on game day and having you come back, and even for guys going back to like when Maz and I were younger, right?
Yeah.
To bring Benny Blades back. I was so fired to talk to Benny, and Benny's like, man, I got to be honest, I was wondering if people remembered me. And I was like, dude, you were an assassin. You could, honestly, that was my favorite. I'm serious. That was my favorite player, even more than Barry. I'm serious. Benny
Seriously.
was great. I loved him. I loved his attitude. I loved the swagger. All of that stuff. And that's what, it was like.
Maz, that was your guy?
I was a Spielman guy.
Spielman's the same thing. Chris never really left, as you well know. Chris was always kind of close, and he came in, doing some various things with the media. But there are guys that just kind of went their separate way in life and went back down to Miami or went to Cali or whatever the case may be. They literally thought that they weren't welcome. And you know what? They're changing that. And it's going to take time. And it's going to take time to filter down to the league because, Joik, this word of mouth, my man, is real. And
real.
You get a couple guys in the league talking, man, why you want to go to Detroit? You see how they did Calvin? I mean, that's some bold
That's the same type of talk that they have with the Patriots. That's why, and the same type of talk they have here with Detroit. That's why, I don't know why Grunk's saying, you can't trade me, I retire. When he found out they were trying to trade him to Detroit. And you think that's the reason why they don't tell players why when they're going to trade them?
Yeah.
You think that can be a reason too?
Yeah.
Because of stuff like that?
Heck yeah. I mean, that's a sad reality. Look, losing's a part of it, unfortunately, and the Lions have to own that. Hopefully they're in the process of starting to control.
What year was that though, when that came out?
2 years ago, right? The Gronk thing? Well, and then you remember Richard Sherman right after the fact kind of coming out and saying, why would I go to Detroit? Why? I'm not going to have any fun there. These guys are beating up. They're beating up their players over there. They want to control everything. Why would I do that? And I mean, that's the stuff that's unfortunate, man. You hear that stuff, and that's real. That's real. That guys are out there talking about it. And so while you're trying to make the team better on the field, do you know what you can control? You can control how you treat your former players. You can control how you take care of your current players. And I think being the key and operative word, Joik, this is a process that started while you were still playing and continues to this day. And now you have to make this right with Calvin Johnson. And the good news is
they're making steps.
They're taking steps.
When you have a guy like him and that's ahead of things, and he's coming in, he's taking over a regime, and he's figuring out everything that's going on, and he understands the importance of this, and him coming in and showing that he cares, that's the first step.
Yep.
The second step is getting them, both parties to the table to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And rumors is that he was able to speak with Sheila Ford.
Yeah, he came out and said that some progress was made, and he had a face-to-face meeting with Sheila Ford Hemp, and he believes that this can be put to bed. I'm paraphrasing. I forget the exact same quote. That's huge. You know what? Here's my advice. Lions, free advice. You don't have to pay me for this. Make it go away today. Now. Make it go away. Right now. Right this second, make it go away. I mean, this is a moment that, like, Lion fans should all be united right now in one of our greats. We were blessed to see this guy play football. He's back in the family. He's giving an endorsement to the current regime. He's of the belief that they're heading in the right direction. All that stuff. Let's celebrate. Hey, good times are coming. We're celebrating one of our greats. But you know what? This is a franchise that's starting to get it and do things the right way on and off the field. It should be a moment of mass celebration. It should be.
It should be. I agree with you.
Until we celebrate a playoff win in 3 years. How's that, Maz?
Love
You,
In 3 years?
You down with that?
2 years.
Oh, boy.
2 years.
Don't be still my heart.
2 years.
Be still my heart. Come on. By the way, Steve said, anyone else love watching Dave Baker telling guys they got in? Those videos are awesome. The guy from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And like
Calvin
Calvin
going up and down.
Calvin getting choked up. And I thought the one that I really liked was Jerry Jones and Roger Staubach, who looks 900 years old, by the way. God bless you, Raj, but you look 900. Walking with Drew Pearson, and then all of a sudden that guy from the Hall of Fame, Baker, shows up. And, like, Drew Pearson looked like a little kid because, like, he stopped dead in his track and he did the Fred Sanford, kind of like clutching at his heart.
Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth.
Because
Elizabeth, they
he
called me
has
home.
waited for this for so long. And
Very
so
good.
to be there with his old quarterback and the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, like, that was a really cool moment. And Woodson was doing that interview in his backyard, and then his family came up. Like, again, that's real. Because, whether you guys want to admit it or not, you guys have a larger-than-life persona, right? You athletes. I think you know that. So when we see the human moment, when I see Joik Bell clutching his little girl and giving her a hug like I would do, that resonates with people. It just does. And I think that's what makes those videos so cool because you see, hey, wow, that's Charles Woodson is a dad. And he just kissed his wife and he hugged his kids and he's getting choked up. I love that stuff. I think guys have to be more willing and more apt to tear down some of our masculinity walls. I just do. It's okay to admit that I cried during Steel Magnolias. It really isn't, but I'm going to go with that.
Oh, it totally is. Stop it. I cried during the Stafford video when they were showing highlights and him falling down and then getting the touchdown pass. I showed my wife and it was like, yeah, you got to look at this video. I teared up. It's okay to have those moments. The whole like macho, got to be big bad like Joik, and you could break down those emotions. Show that you want to be friends.
Like Maz brought up, Woodson and Peyton going in together was perfect. I mean, that was the big debate, who's going to win the Heisman in '97 and all that, right? I mean, it was absolutely perfect. I would have voted for Woodson, by the way, if I had a vote then. I didn't have a vote then, but if I had a vote then, I would have voted for Woodson. I really truly would have.
Okay,
but. Those are the moments that are just absolutely outstanding to me. So, congratulations, Calvin, and congratulations, Lions. It sounds like you guys are prepared to do the right thing.
They are.
Make it official today. Just get it done.
Make it official.
Yeah, make it official today, right now.
Breaking news.
Wouldn't that be great?
Breaking news.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Wood. You have carte blanche. If you ever want to come here and you want to sit in the middle chair, we'll give you carte blanche. You can announce it on the show.
Knock it,
and I'll hug you.
Here we go. Knock it out the park.
Yes.
Knock it out the park.
Absolutely.
And speaking of knocking it out the park.
Oh, isn't he such a freaking pro?
Stop it. Speaking of knocking it out the park, we have, once again, Black History Month. We end the show showing the video of Black History throughout the month of February. And this guy right here was a pioneer, one of the greatest of all time, Hank Aaron. So we have a video for you guys today. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys tomorrow. Gang, gang.
On April 8th, 1974, Atlanta Braves outfielder Henry Louis Aaron, better known as Hank, hit his 715th home run, finally breaking the record of the legendary Babe Ruth. Like everyone else in the country, I'd been following Aaron's pursuit of the record since the previous season. He'd played in the Negro Leagues in the early 1950s, and now here he was, just 2 home runs away. But the excitement was undercut by a sense of alarm as Aaron's quest unleashed a torrent of vicious racism.
Baseball is the quintessential American sport. Now an African American, a dark-skinned black man, challenging the power, the supremacy of baseball and of white men. That's why the hate mail, death threats, bomb threats, this was driving a stake at the heart of American culture.
Has all this made you more aware that you're a black baseball player?
I've never forgotten it.
Later, he would confess that he was afraid he wouldn't live long enough to break the record. But then, at the start of the 1974 season,
that ball is gonna be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Aaron's triumph was electrifying. By the end of his major league career in 1976, he had hit a total of 755 home runs. Aaron's record would stand for more than 30 years. The Braves retired his number, and he was elected to the Hall of Fame. To this day, Hank Aaron is considered one of baseball's greatest players.